Hey everybody, Brent Touchstone of Touchstone Pixels here. Been a couple weeks since my last upload. Sorry about that. Been watching a little too much news. Never a good thing. But we got some exciting things going on. We're going to get out hopefully this weekend, shoot some pictures. And I am also starting this new series on editing photos in Lightroom. We're going to go kind of from beginning to advanced. Got some people saying that they're brand new to photography and that these videos are helping out a lot. So we're going to dive more into it. All right, here we go. I got this image here. I've chose this one for the series because it's kind of well balanced between highlights and shadows, whites, blacks. And we're going to start off here, just kind of top to bottom. This video is going to go over the basic sliders. So first thing I want to look at here is this is our histogram in the top right corner. And the left side of the histogram represents your blacks and your darks. The right side is highlights and whites. And we use this a lot in editing. So let me just give you an example here. If we take our exposure, it just kind of boosts everything, makes everything brighter. See how everything gets pushed to the right there? Or makes everything darker, everything gets pushed to the left. Double click the reset. And we've got a couple options up here. You have show shadow clipping and show highlight clipping. So if you see here, we've got some shadow clipping in the bottom left corner. If I take my exposure down, you can see it gets worse. Those are all areas that are completely 100% black. They have no detail. And you don't really want that. However, that is better than blowing out the highlights. So if we go to the right, all these area in red, that's the highlights clipping. That is 100% pure white. It's really not good for photography. Blacks, crushed blacks are kind of acceptable, you know, in the shadows, but the blown out whites really don't look good. So that's up here. Highlight and shadow clipping. I'm going to turn both those off for now. Then coming down, we have auto edit. That's just going to give you a basic algorithm that'll edit the photograph for you, properly expose, balance the shadows, highlights, whites, blacks. I'll reset that. And we can go to monochrome. So that's those two features. And then here we have some basic settings. They're like what you find on back of your camera. So if you shot in RAW but you want to apply these landscape, portrait, standard, vivid settings, you can do that right there. And then we have just some basic profiles, some artistic profiles where you can edit the photograph. I went to that in more detail in another video. I'll show that up here. You can watch that video if you want to learn more about the artistic profiles. For now, I'm going to reset that and dive into these sliders just a little more. So you have contrast. If you watch the histogram, that's going to separate your whites and your blacks, make everything more contrasty. And to the left is going to bring them all together, give you a little bit more of a washed out look. And then highlights. If you're watching your histogram, highlights are going to be in the right 1/3. Shadows are going to be in the left 1/3. Whites are going to be all the way to the right. And blacks are going to be all the way to the left. So we'll bump up our highlights and you can see it moving there. And we'll bring them down. For this image, I kind of like to drop the highlights, make the clouds pop a little more. And same thing with shadows. So we're going to look about right here in the histogram. We can bring them up, get back some of that shadow detail. Or drop them down and it's going to make them darker. If we show our clipping here though, you can see we're really starting to crush the blacks. It's kind of okay in the blackest part of your images where you're not really worried about a lot of detail. And then if we look at whites, that is going to be way over on the right. Bring those up and show our clipping. And we can go to about right there without clipping the whites. It's going to give us a well-balanced image. We drop our blacks. We're already clipping those because of the shadows. Bring those down a little bit as well. Let's reset all these sliders. And I'm going to show you just kind of what I would do if I was just going to use this panel right here, the slider panel, how I would adjust this image. Probably bring my exposure up a little bit. I want it kind of contrasty. Bring my contrast up and drop my highlights down. Bring my shadows up just a little bit. My whites, I'm going to bring them up till just under clipping. And I kind of want to crush my blacks a little bit just to draw your eyes to the light parts of the image. It's kind of what I wanted to do here. And there we go, a basic slider correction. Well, that's going to be it for this video. The next video we are going to dive into the curves. Just kind of take it slow and easy here for the beginnings. And by the end, we will cover every option here in the edit panel of Lightroom. So if you guys like and enjoy this video, found it useful, and want to come along for the ride, learn how to really do some in-depth photo editing here in Lightroom Cloud, you can do all this stuff in the other version as well. Please hit that like and subscribe button. Thanks for watching. Till next time.